This is one of the most important health topics for anyone over 50 in the United States, United Kingdom, Canada, or Australia. Stroke is a silent, sudden, and often deadly event that affects millions of seniors every single year. But the most shocking part? A large percentage of strokes could have been prevented simply through smarter food choices. The power of what we eat every day is immense, and science has now identified specific foods that can directly lower the risk of stroke, even for people already dealing with high blood pressure or cholesterol. These foods don't just help, they can be life-saving. Leafy greens are not just rabbit food, like some older Americans have joked about for decades. They are nutrient-dense powerhouses that directly support brain and heart function. Spinach, kale, collard greens, arugula, and Swiss chard are rich in vitamin K, folate, nitrates, and magnesium, all proven to regulate blood pressure and improve endothelial function. The endothelial cells lining our blood vessels are like the Teflon coating that keeps things flowing smoothly. When we're younger, they work great. But in aging adults, especially in the United States, where the standard diet is overloaded with sodium, fried fats, and ultra-processed carbs, the endothelium begins to deteriorate. Leafy greens directly fight that. Studies from American universities have shown that individuals who consume at least 1 cup of cooked greens daily have up to a 21% reduced risk of stroke compared to those who rarely eat them. That's not a small margin, and the vitamin K found in these greens also reduces the buildup of calcium in arteries, preventing hardening and promoting flexibility of the vessels feeding the brain. Seniors who add greens to their daily meals often report improvements not just in blood pressure, but in clarity of thinking and energy levels. Why? Because improved circulation delivers more oxygen-rich blood to the brain. Berries, especially blueberries and strawberries, aren't just a sweet treat. They are brain defenders. Packed with flavonoids, specifically anthocyanins, they reduce oxidative stress and inflammation, 2 of the most dangerous contributors to stroke. Inflammatory molecules like C-reactive protein, CRP, spike when we eat the typical American diet, filled with refined sugars and trans fats. But when seniors start eating 1 cup of berries a day, inflammation markers like CRP start dropping. One Harvard study followed nearly 94,000 women over 18 years and found that those who ate the most berries had a 34% lower risk of ischemic stroke. That's a staggering statistic. This isn't about cutting out joy. It's about adding the right joy to your meals. People in Canada and the United Kingdom are already seeing public health campaigns promoting berry intake in senior communities. And this isn't only about blueberries. Blackberries, raspberries, and cranberries also count. The antioxidants in berries protect the blood-brain barrier, that crucial filter between your bloodstream and brain tissue. Once that barrier is damaged, toxins and inflammatory cells can flood the brain, leading to cognitive decline and stroke risk. Elderly patients who've made berries a habit often report better memory, sharper attention, and steadier moods. Fatty fish like wild salmon, sardines, and mackerel have long been hailed as heart food. But what many seniors still don't realize is how powerfully protective they are against stroke. These fish are rich in omega-3 fatty acids, particularly EPA and DHA, which reduce triglycerides, lower blood pressure, and improve arterial elasticity. In the United States, stroke is the 5th leading cause of death, and many of those strokes are triggered by poor circulation, clots, and thickened blood. Omega-3s work directly against these threats. They thin the blood slightly, reduce platelet aggregation, and lower inflammation, all while protecting brain neurons from degeneration. In one major study published in the journal Stroke, people who ate fish at least once a week had a 13% lower risk of stroke. and those who ate it more than twice weekly had a 30% lower risk. In Australia, dietitians now recommend oily fish as part of the standard guidelines for stroke prevention in seniors. But beware! Fried fish, like what's often served in diners or fast food chains in the United States, actually does the opposite. Frying oxidizes the fats and destroys the delicate omega-3s, turning them into harmful compounds. Seniors trying to stay independent, stay sharp, and avoid nursing homes should aim for grilled, baked, or broiled fatty fish 2 to 3 times a week. That one step can make the difference between a future of cognitive decline or clear, connected thought. Nuts, particularly walnuts and almonds, are misunderstood by a lot of older Americans because they think high fat means bad. That couldn't be further from the truth. Healthy fats from nuts are some of the most protective substances you can consume when it comes to stroke prevention. Walnuts contain plant-based omega-3s, ALA, antioxidants like vitamin E, and anti-inflammatory polyphenols. Almonds offer magnesium, which helps relax blood vessels and regulate heart rhythm. In Canada, where stroke rates are also a major public health concern, seniors who consume a small handful of nuts daily are already seeing significant drops in systolic blood pressure and LDL cholesterol levels. And it's not just about the fat, it's about what's missing. When you eat nuts, you're less likely to reach for processed snack foods full of sodium and refined carbohydrates, which spike blood sugar and increase stroke risk. People from the United Kingdom and Australia have also adopted nut-heavy snack trends in elderly care homes with great success. In one case, a group of seniors in an assisted living facility began a heart-healthy snack program built around nuts, berries, and dark chocolate. After just 4 months, the number of residents with blood pressure in the hypertensive range dropped by over 40%. That's what real food medicine looks like. Whole grains, especially oats, barley, and quinoa, are another cornerstone food for seniors trying to avoid stroke. In the United States, too many older adults still consume refined grains like white bread, white rice, and overly processed breakfast cereals. These foods spike blood sugar, trigger insulin resistance, and promote fat storage around the abdomen, all of which are risk factors for stroke. Whole grains do the opposite. Oats, for instance, contain beta-glucan, a type of soluble fiber that binds to cholesterol and drags it out of the body. Barley reduces post-meal blood sugar spikes and helps maintain stable insulin levels. Quinoa, though less common in traditional American diets, is high in magnesium and plant-based protein, making it ideal for vascular health. Studies have shown that replacing refined grains with whole grains can reduce stroke risk by up to 30%, depending on other lifestyle factors. Seniors who start eating oatmeal for breakfast instead of sugary cereals or white toast with jam often notice a drop in their morning blood pressure within weeks. And because whole grains digest slowly, they help stabilize mood and energy, crucial for older adults who often experience blood sugar crashes that can lead to dizziness, confusion, or even falls. In Australia and Canada, dietitians recommend at least 3 servings of whole grains per day for adults over 60. Seniors who follow this guideline are more likely to maintain a healthy weight, steady blood sugar, and strong artery function, all key defenses against stroke. Avocados have become trendy among younger generations, but they're even more essential for older adults. In the United States, where high blood pressure is rampant in people over 55, avocados act like nature's blood pressure pill. They're loaded with potassium, more than bananas, and rich in heart-protective monounsaturated fats. Potassium helps flush out excess sodium from the body, which is critical since sodium overload is one of the top dietary contributors to hypertension. In one national nutrition survey, Americans who consumed higher levels of potassium had a 27% lower risk of stroke. And it's not just about the minerals. Avocados also contain lutein and zeaxanthin, antioxidants that protect brain tissue and improve cognitive function. Seniors who regularly include avocado in salads, smoothies, or on whole-grain toast often find that their blood pressure stabilizes without needing to increase medications. In many U.S. retirement communities, avocado is being added to menus for precisely this reason. But it's important to note that avocado should replace, not add to, high-fat processed foods. Use it instead of butter, mayonnaise, or cheese spreads. That swap can mean less saturated fat, better cholesterol numbers, and significantly lower stroke risk. Beets are one of the most underrated foods when it comes to stroke prevention, especially among older adults in the United States, where sugary beverages and overprocessed snacks have largely replaced natural, nutrient-rich foods. Beets are loaded with natural nitrates, which the body converts into nitric oxide, a molecule that relaxes and widens blood vessels, improving blood flow and reducing blood pressure. For seniors, maintaining healthy blood flow to the brain is one of the most critical defenses against ischemic stroke, which makes up the majority of stroke cases. In a study conducted in the United Kingdom, elderly participants who drank beetroot juice daily showed improved cerebral blood flow and even enhanced cognitive performance within a few weeks. One of the reasons strokes can be so devastating is that poor circulation leads to tiny clots and microvascular damage over time. Beets directly target this issue. Canadian nutritionists now frequently include beets in vascular health meal plans. For those over 60, especially those who are on multiple medications, as the natural effect of beets can enhance the effectiveness of certain antihypertensive drugs. You don't have to juice beets every day. Roasted beets in salads, blended into soups, or added to smoothies with berries can work just as effectively. In many U.S. hospitals, beet-based nitrate supplements are now being explored as a natural adjunct therapy for seniors recovering from stroke and cardiac events, highlighting how powerful and practical this root vegetable is. Dark chocolate is not candy. It's brain food when chosen correctly. The key is quality and percentage. Seniors who choose dark chocolate with at least 70% cocoa content are giving their bodies a powerful dose of flavonoids, specifically epicatechin, which improves blood vessel function and reduces inflammation. These flavonoids support the endothelium and prevent the clumping of platelets that can lead to blood clots and, eventually, stroke. In studies from the United States and Canada, moderate consumption of dark chocolate, about 1 ounce a few times a week, was associated with a lower risk of stroke by 17%. In aging populations, that percentage could translate to tens of thousands of lives spared each year. However, this benefit disappears entirely if the chocolate is packed with sugar, milk fats, or other additives. In the United Kingdom, public health campaigns are now trying to shift older adults from sugary milk chocolate toward purer forms of cocoa. In Australia, some hospitals have even introduced dark chocolate as part of their brain-healthy snack programs in stroke recovery wards. Seniors who regularly consume high-quality dark chocolate often report a sense of improved mood, better focus, and fewer cravings for unhealthy sweets. And this matters because every small dietary choice adds up. 1 piece of dark chocolate, a few times a week, could be the small yet consistent difference between chronic vascular inflammation and long-term protection. Tomatoes are often dismissed as just salad toppings, but they're a nutritional powerhouse, especially for stroke prevention. They contain a compound called lycopene, a potent antioxidant that significantly reduces oxidative damage to the brain's blood vessels. Oxidative damage is one of the root causes of both ischemic and hemorrhagic strokes, especially in older adults with uncontrolled hypertension and diabetes. In a large study from Finland, people with the highest blood levels of lycopene had a 55% lower risk of stroke than those with the lowest levels. That kind of risk reduction is astonishing. In the United States, many seniors eat canned soups and sauces, which often do contain tomatoes, but the benefits are negated by the excess sodium and preservatives. The key is fresh or low-sodium options. In Canada and the UK, nutrition experts are now pushing the Mediterranean plate for seniors, which features tomatoes almost daily in the form of fresh slices, tomato-based lentil stews, or heart-healthy sauces served over whole grains. Lycopene is better absorbed when tomatoes are cooked with a bit of healthy fat, like olive oil, making it easy to integrate into meals. For seniors, adding just a half cup of cooked tomatoes several times per week could dramatically improve vascular resilience and protect against the kind of oxidative stress that contributes to stroke, memory loss, and cognitive decline. Elderly patients in stroke recovery programs often report faster progress when antioxidant-rich foods like tomatoes become a regular part of their diet. Garlic is not just for flavor, it's a functional food with serious stroke-preventing power. Garlic contains a compound called allicin, which helps lower blood pressure, reduce arterial stiffness, and prevent platelet aggregation. Platelet aggregation is when blood cells stick together and form clots that can block arteries, leading to strokes. In older adults in the United States who frequently consume high-sodium, high-fat diets, blood becomes thicker and more prone to clotting. Garlic thins the blood naturally and supports overall heart function. Several American clinical trials have shown that daily garlic supplementation can lower systolic blood pressure by up to 10 mmHg, a reduction that can significantly lower stroke risk in seniors. In one Canadian retirement village, residents who participated in a garlic-focused nutrition plan experienced fewer TIA events or mini-strokes within the first 6 months. Garlic also improves cholesterol profiles, reducing LDL and increasing HDL. It fights infections, boosts immune function, and can even improve insulin sensitivity, another critical factor in reducing stroke risk. In the United Kingdom and Australia, elderly healthcare providers are starting to recommend garlic supplements to patients who can't tolerate strong-tasting foods, while others are adding raw garlic to dips, soups, and cooked dishes. The most important point is consistency. Seniors who add garlic to meals multiple times per week are not just protecting their heart. They're building a line of defense around their brain's blood supply. Legumes like lentils, chickpeas, black beans, and kidney beans offer a powerful combination of fiber, magnesium, and plant-based protein, all essential for stroke prevention. In the United States, older adults are still vastly under-consuming fiber, and that lack of fiber leads to cholesterol buildup, poor blood sugar control, and digestive issues. High-fiber diets are strongly associated with lower stroke risk. Lentils, in particular, help stabilize blood sugar, reduce insulin resistance, and improve cholesterol ratios. A long-term study from the United Kingdom followed more than 20,000 adults and found that those who ate legumes regularly had significantly lower blood pressure and a 22% lower risk of stroke. Canadian dietitians are now teaching seniors how to make lentil-based soups, stews, and even spreads to help replace processed meats and cheese-based meals, which are often dangerously high in sodium and saturated fat. Legumes are inexpensive, widely available, and can be flavored to match any cuisine. Elderly individuals in Australia who began eating legumes at least 4 times per week reported not only fewer incidents of high blood pressure, but also improved energy, better digestion, and more stable weight. For older adults struggling with food costs in the U.S., legumes offer one of the most affordable paths to disease prevention. This is not just about nutrition, it's about access, dignity, and making sure that seniors have the tools to protect. themselves through food. Pomegranate juice is another unexpected but clinically powerful stroke-fighting food. This fruit juice, especially when 100% pure and unsweetened, is rich in polyphenols, including punicalagins, which have been shown to reduce oxidative stress, lower blood pressure, and improve cholesterol profiles. In American clinical studies, patients who drank just 1 glass of pomegranate juice daily saw significant reductions in systolic blood pressure in just 2 weeks. And it's not just about the numbers on the blood pressure cuff. Pomegranate juice also protects the inner lining of the arteries and improves blood flow to the brain, reducing the risk of ischemic events. In Canada and the United Kingdom, researchers have explored the role of pomegranate juice in reversing arterial plaque buildup, a key factor in stroke prevention. In one small trial, participants experienced a 30% reduction in arterial plaque over 1 year of daily intake. Seniors in the United States often rely on sugary fruit cocktails or artificially flavored drinks that offer no protection and often worsen inflammation. Pomegranate is different. The juice can be diluted with water, added to smoothies, or consumed on its own. For elderly individuals recovering from stroke, pomegranate's antioxidant content may help reduce further brain inflammation and speed up cognitive recovery. In Australia, pomegranate extract supplements are even being studied for their neuroprotective properties. This isn't a magic cure. It's real, measurable nutrition science that can impact the daily lives and long-term health of aging adults. Each of these 10 foods can make a significant impact on stroke prevention, especially in seniors across the United States, United Kingdom, Canada, and Australia, where lifestyle-related strokes remain tragically high. Every choice matters. Stroke doesn't just take lives, it steals independence, memories, speech, mobility, and identity. Making these foods part of a senior's daily or weekly routine can mean the difference between a future of dependence or a life of dignity and sharpness. Every meal is a chance to protect the brain and preserve quality of life. Every bite can be an act of prevention.